Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is Derek Afasi. I'm the owner of Afasi Financial Group and RetireSharp.com. Today's topic, I want to discuss with you IRA retirement and fully explain some of the problems that individuals make when they either have qualified retirement accounts and they try to roll them over into specifically designed IRA contracts, how to make sure that that is more measured to what that individual's goals are, and then show the exact solution on why someone might want to do that. I'll also touch up on when somebody could make additional contributions towards an IRA account, and then why that might be beneficial for your position as well. But ultimately, what happens is individuals do not understand the proper steps, or they're just kind of shooting from the hip regarding these IRA accounts, and they might set up a specific growth strategy when they might want to be, set up in a more conservative strategy or an income strategy when they're trying to when the ultimate goal is to set up a type of growth strategy. So it's equivalent to if someone's driving, they're hitting the pedal to the metal, they're going 90 miles per hour, and they don't know exactly where they're going. They don't have a GPS set. They're just driving on one random road to a destination, hoping that they get to their ideal destination. And that's essentially what we're trying to do. We try to educate you guys is make sure that you have that plan in place, that you have that type of GPS, that type of measurement that's already segmented, so that you could say, okay, if I have X amount in assets, how can I segment them out properly? How could I leverage those assets properly to make sure that I are keeping each IRA account or one IRA account in its proper lane for ultimate retirement success. So I hope that all that makes sense, and let's get started. So what exactly is an IRA retirement? An IRA account is an individual retirement account. I'm going to talk about the traditional IRA for this video, for this example. And what it says is you kind of have to think of that like a bucket. And what happens is the amount of dollars that you're placing into this, whether through like an old 401k or qualified retirement account, thrift savings plan, 403b plan, 401a plan, 457 plan, all these different employer-sponsored retirement accounts, if deemed certain provisions, or if you hit like a specific age, if you left that old employer, you're able to take these dollars, these lump sums, and roll them over into an IRA, an individual retirement account. And what this allows you to do is now pick a whole limitless amount of options available to you, available to whatever your position is. So if someone wants to dip into gold and they say, okay, I think that gold is the next hot thing, they could do that. If they like individual stocks or bonds or mutual funds or ETFs, they could set up a whole plethora of options available through this IRA. If, let's say, they want to set up something for good tax deferred growth and then eventual lifetime income through a lifetime income rider, they could set up something known as an IRA annuity contract. So this individual retirement account, they allow you to place it into a whole slew of different options. And the reason why individuals place it or roll it over into an IRA is because this is also deemed a qualified retirement account. So let's say if somebody's 50 years old and they have, $300,000 that's sitting in their 401k account, they sever employment, they're now working for a new company. Well, this $300,000 could either stay put at that 401k, and that person's now going to be subject to those limited funding options, those 5 to 25 options that they could choose through the mutual funds, ETF, stocks, bonds, or they could take this money and roll it over into an IRA that gives them more eggs in their basket to choose from. So now they could customize that type of IRA. They could splice up multiple IRAs to make sure that their plan is segmented properly to whatever their retirement goals permit. The common mistake that individuals make at this stage is that they think, okay, I have my 401k, this is free money, I'm just going to take my $300,000 and throw it into my checking account. And what that does is it takes it from qualified monies to non-qualified monies, and then Uncle Sam, the IRS, is going to hit that person with a huge tax bill of that $300,000 plus a 10% penalty. So when you do a rollover, it's keeping it within like terms, qualified to qualified, and therefore you're now able to customize those options better, hence receiving a higher potential rate of return than if you leave it with your 401k accounts and you have those 401k related fees, those mutual fund related fees, and also those limited funding options, where this one you're able to kind of scale down on what fees that you're paying depending upon which route you want to go, and you could just segment them more properly to that individual's goal. So remember, IRA, individual retirement account. So the problems that are made when individuals are trying to set up these IRA contracts are they're just kind of taking a guess. They're just, flying blind, and they're not trying to realize where are they right now at point A, where do they want to be at point B at retirement, and then how to fill in those gaps and how to leverage that IRA contract, with the best possible option. So, like, let's say if someone's coming from a 401k and they have their monies listed in 401ks, and they said, okay, well, I don't want to have it listed in 401k anymore because I'm paying very expensive mutual fund related options, they're expensive 401k related options. And I had a large downward market loss because it was so highly leveraged towards market risk. And then they go and take those monies and they roll it over into an IRA, but now that IRA has higher mutual fund related options as at a riskier, it's more leveraged towards stocks than bonds, and that individual just didn't want it set up that way. So, or you have an additional advisor fee that's tacked onto that bucket. So it's all about how exactly to be most efficient with these types of buckets. And when you think of the 401k as a bucket and the IRA as a bucket, it makes it more simplistic on how to segment those dollars properly. So, like, let's say if somebody has $500,000 that's sitting in an old 401k account, or they've sufficed a certain age requirement, let's say that they hit age 60, and that 401k provider allows them to go and do the rollover into a type of IRA account. Well, what is some of the mistakes that are made with this current 401k? It's something known as reverse dollar cost averaging. If this person says they want to retire at age 65, they have 500,000 at age 60. And let's say that their 401k has 401k related fees, they have mutual fund related fees, they have an advisor that's trying to direct them that's charging an advisor fee, they have downward market loss potential, they eventually want to pull out income from these accounts, you have inflationary risk, the cost of goods and services are going up, you have longevity risk of outliving this bucket. So what's happening is you're seeing a lot of these micro holes that are set in the bottom of this bucket that are leaking out. So anytime that there is a specific rate of return that comes in there, if you have more fees and more negatives than whatever that gain is, obviously you have less in your bucket at the end of that year because you had all these different holes leaking out, leaking all that money out of the bucket. If, let's say, you have a downward market loss because of this rate of return came back negative, well, then that's going to further compound those negatives as well. If you understand that problem and you want to fix that problem, but yet you get set up in an IRA that's more expensive in mutual fund fees, more expensive in advisor fees, you're still subject to downward market losses, and you still have that inflation, that longevity risk, and you try to set up that same platform, you're not fixing that problem. You're not segmenting your dollars properly where at this age, if they allow you to go and roll it over into an IRA, it might make more sense to go and channel it into three main areas and possibly three main types of IRA contracts. Through dealing with clients and a bunch of academic research, we narrowed down the three main topics that individuals that are preparing for retirement or currently in retirement, what is the confidence? What do they need to have accomplished in order to stay retired forever? And the first segment is going to be they need income sources, sufficient amount of income sources to suffice whatever their expense goal is. They need to have emergency funds, properly established in case of an oh my gosh moment. And then they need to have inflationary protection that are based more upon whatever those expenses are. So in that example, if we have somebody that has $500,000 in a 401k account, or $500,000 in a 403b or any sort of qualified retirement account, and they're currently age 60, and they say, okay, me and my spouse are both age 60, well, we want to retire at age 65, and we need to have exactly $60,000 of income at that age 65. So we help you guys understand. We give you proper budgeting sheets to fill out whatever that budget analysis is and say, okay, this is our numbers, exactly $60,000 at age 65, or we at least make sure that you segment that out to the decimal point. Maybe out of this, you have $40,000 that are fixed expenses, $20,000 that are inflationary expenses. So for that first year, age 65, you need exactly 60,000. Well, maybe out of their income sources, out of their guaranteed income sources, you have Social Security income. Let's say that's $30,000. Maybe they're offered pension income for an additional $20,000. So these are going to be lifetime income streams for both, them and their spouse. And now you have a specific gap that's sitting there of $10,000. Well, with this specific, if we understand this criteria, these individual couple age 60 want to retire at age 65. Well, maybe out of this 500,000, it's only going to cost them 150 grand to place it aside into an IRA account. This will be an IRA specifically designed IRA hybrid annuity account that we attach an income rider to that would be the best possible contract for a 5-year deferral that would trigger exactly $10,000 of income. So with that, now your bucket's sitting at 350,000. A rule of thumb is you want to have between 6 to 12 months of emergency funds completely liquid. So therefore, maybe we take another 50,000, place that into an IRA money market account to say that it's not going to be subject to downward market losses, and this is something that you could take at any point in time that you need to dip into that's completely outside of the annuity, so you do not mess with how that annuity contract works. That annuity contract is working exactly how it's supposed to be properly designed, and now you have $300,000 that's left over to combat whatever this inflationary need is. So maybe at age 60, it's only going to be $60,000 of a need, but now you have a step up of that inflationary goal where maybe at age 67, it's going to be, $62,000. And then at age 69, it's going to be $64,000. So there's different ways on how you could step up, or you could just grow this on a very efficient manner. You could be very similar to how you were setting up your 401k, but now there's options. You have thousands of eggs in your basket to choose from to say, let's get a lower cost, let's get higher quality funds that could be possibly tactically managed to say you want to avoid any sort of downward market loss disasters, or maybe you want to use this bucket to have more safe consistency, more safe consistent growth into your plans, their indexing strategies, different things like that now you have an overall plan. And you understand at age 60, you say, okay, I have 5 years left, and then bam, I could retire properly. It's not like those seniors, those baby boomers that walked into the early 2000s. They said, okay, I'm going to retire in a couple of years. The market's doing fantastic. I'm just going to keep leaving my money in aggressive portfolios. And then in 2008, the bottom fell out. You had portfolios that dropped minus 30%, minus 60%, some as high as minus 70%. So, I mean, that is complete retirement disaster. That's when you have to change up everything. So what I'm saying is with these IRA accounts, you could make sure that you have some contracts that are structured that are not going to get hindered with downward market losses, that will produce you lifetime income streams, that will produce you that peace of mind if you ever need to dip into emergency funds, and then on top of it, allow you to grow those accounts for those next 5 years to therefore use to combat inflation. So that is setting up an overall 1-2-3 punch, a 1-2-3 plan. And that's just a generic example. That's just a really easy example that I'm giving you guys, but that's something that you can easily accomplish, and that's what we try to help you guys out every step of the way to really understand what is your point A, what is your current situation right now, and then where do you want to go successfully, where do you want to be, and how to get there successfully. So at any point in time you found value in this video, please feel free to call our 1-800 number, 1-800-566-1002. We offer 24/7 customer service. You can give us a call mornings, nights, weekends, holidays, whatever the case may be. Someone will be there to answer your call. When calling in, you're going to be speaking to an assistant, and that assistant's going to ask you some questions. What are you calling in for? Just say that you saw a video online and regarding IRA retirement, you want to speak to a specialist, and they're going to patch you over to that specialist depending upon who's available at that time. That specialist is going to try to figure out what your situation is and whether it makes sense to just stay put on what you're doing, or whether it makes sense to make very small tweaks that can have an overall larger result, overall larger impact to your overall portfolio. We're A+ rated on the Better Business Bureau. We've always had very good reviews. We've never had any complaints. I believe it's because of our methodical process of educating first and making us as transparent as possible to say, this is exactly how the process works. This is your situation. This is how you should be seeing these certain things. And then when we give you a recommendation, the recommendation makes perfect sense because we're an independent agency. We're able to leverage thousands of different opportunities, thousands of different contracts through our Retire Sharp planning system and our case design teams that are just fantastic, that could segment to the decimal point each dollar amount that you'd have to place in there to get that overall result, to have that further peace of mind. So there's a couple different things that we work with, and I want to thank you very much for watching this video. Please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Retire Sharp, so you could have access to the most updated videos. Thanks so much, guys.